Real good marketing indeed. One of the things I wanted to ask you coming out of that show, Jim, is there's a big backlash among the Lucha fans there in Mexico City. They booed the devil out of Vikingo and they wanted Del Rio. And I know that that has been a sore subject with Lucha Libre fans and AAA fans because they feel like WWE's influence here has had them take the belt off of Del Rio, actually promote a match where Vikingo was defending the belt before he even won the belt. So maybe they feel a little offended by all that, but there's a lot of speculation.
I don't blame them.
Yeah,
it's an insult to your intelligence. I know that we had an incident one time down in Houston where Jake Roberts, I can't remember the roles. You might remember. Somebody listening might have an idea on what it was about, but the bottom line was that Jake Roberts was going to lose the North American title, and in 2 days he was booked in New York at WWE, WWF at that time, and we wanted to keep it a secret. And there was a writer down in Houston who wrote a wrestling column for the main newspaper, and he loves to, break the news, be on the cutting edge. And we had a hell of a time keeping that under wraps. I don't think we did, because even back in those days, those sources of information existed, and boy, they were exploited as well.
Well, that's what I wanted to get to is the Del Rio thing. Of course, he's not using that name in AAA, but that's what we know him by in WWE parlance. So I want to ask, what would you do with Del Rio? I mean, this is a guy who certainly had some legal troubles in his rearview mirror. And I guess there's a report from Dave Meltzer that maybe there's some hard feelings because he was pretty vocal and saying some fairly negative things about Hunter years ago. I mean, that was probably nearly 10 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
But Vince was always able to do what was quote unquote best for business. And a lot of people, our friend Double J included, believe, well, Del Rio's certainly coming in. They're just waiting to tell the story. Do you think we'll see Del Rio in AEW? I mean, in AAA / WWE in the near future?
It wouldn't surprise me. He's a very good talent. He has a great look. Being bilingual is another positive selling point. His issues are his reliability, because of what you already talked about. There's issues there. He's outspoken. And there's nothing wrong with being outspoken. That's a fact. But sometimes he speaks. Sometimes his timing isn't as good as one would ideally like. So, but all that takes is communication and management. But if he's not hired, it's not because, well, he's not a real good worker anymore. He's got up there in age, and he's right there at that borderline where, he's going to be hard to manage. I don't personally believe that. I just think he's a smart guy. He's been around the business his entire life. He just needs to have leadership and communication. Isn't that funny? Leadership and communication. How doesn't that apply to just about every damn factor of your life?
Yes.
So why is it that shouldn't be a mystery. It shouldn't be an issue we don't have a solution for this. Bullshit. It's a matter of being motivated. And I don't know what it was about him when I was there. There was times where we had challenging issues because he is a smart guy and he knows when he's being bullshitted. And that affects his work and affects his attitude. And he was influential more than people believe and think in the WWE locker room, especially with the Hispanic talents. He was kind of like the guy. So I don't know. He's a talent that's out there that somebody should grab sooner than later, because he's not going to be out of work long. I don't know if he's even out of work now.
No, he's still working in Mexico. I just don't think that he's been making any AAA shots. But I think a lot of people are wondering, what is next for him? Because guys like JBL, I mean, he's gone on Bruce's podcast and said He saw him firsthand earlier this year. I think it was in March. And he said that guy is probably the best worker in the business right now, just based on the way he has that relationship with the crowd. So I'll be interested to see what happens next with that. We'll keep an eye on it. Of course, we know that Dominic Mysterio is going to be challenging Vikingo for the world title. That's going to happen in September. And it's actually the same day that TKO is promoting that big boxing event. But speaking of big events, I don't know if you've seen this, Jim, but allegedly, and by the time this airs, maybe this has already been announced, there's a rumor out there that WWE is going to do essentially like a pop-up pay-per-view, and they're going to do it heads up against AEW All Out. Now, All Out is going to be the Adam Copeland homecoming to Toronto. This is a big deal for AEW, certainly a big deal for old Edge fans and certainly modern Adam Copeland fans. I would venture a guess as to the main event. If you're watching the show, you can probably think about what that might be, and I'm pumped for it. But now we hear WWE might do a show that very same day with Brock Lesnar and John Cena. I know a lot of people believe that Brock Lesnar and John Cena were going to hook up at the Clash in Paris, but it doesn't look like that's the case. It looks like it's going to be in Indianapolis on September 20th. But even bigger than all this is that PW Insider promotes that there's been discussion within the broadcast industry over the last few days that the planned event for Saturday, September 20th could end up airing on ESPN as a preview of the type of programming the company will bring to that new partnership that officially kicks off in April 2026. On this report, Dave Meltzer doubled down and said the September 20th show looks like it's going to be on ESPN. They'll probably make that announcement this week, which is interesting only because in the fall, ESPN on a Saturday night is college football night. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
They have deals with all these conferences that are big money deals. It's some of the strongest programming of the year. I don't know what game would be on that day, but it's pretty possible that a game would do better numbers than even a Cena-Lesnar match would do. We don't know what a Cena-Lesnar match does, but here's what I do know. That's a big opportunity for WWE, but it feels like, and I don't care what everybody says, they're counter programming AEW here, are they not? And in the biggest possible way.
Yeah, I think that if they do that, Connie, I can't see it being on ESPN one because they have a contract every Saturday night. They got the game day built around it. They got huge money invested, and they produce. They have great numbers. I know that a lot of the hype this year is about Lee Corso's last season. I think he's got one game left, but they have the other networks like they're doing with Little League Baseball at times, ESPN2, ESPN News, all that stuff. So they'll protect Saturday night football. I really believe that. But I could see it going to ESPN2, which again will preempt football because on Saturday night, ESPN2 carries football as well.
SaveWithConrad.com.
My name is Sergio. I'm from Lancaster in California. The motivation behind just following through with this refinance was to have a baby on the way. So just wanted to get everything in order. In the past couple of years, just afraid to pull the trigger, but then it just seemed like the right time to do it. I went to multiple banks, not only the mortgage I had, but then I went to you, and then I also went to several others. And it just seemed like your team, they were just completely honest and outright. Also, all the information was just laid out for me right there and then, answering all my questions in a timely, efficient manner. Diane was just so helpful and above and beyond accessible with both texting and emails and just any information that they needed. She would explain to me what exactly they wanted me to send, and then if there were any issues, she was able to just resolve them pretty quickly versus other companies that sometimes it would take a couple of days to get some information. We were looking to pay down some debt, also looking into making some improvements to the home, also build up our backyard, do everything, especially for our daughter coming. By doing this cash out, it's a good amount that we're saving, between $1,000 and $1,500 a month, I would say. It helped out tremendously as well. My name's Sergio. I'm from Lancaster, California, and I saved over $1,500 a month with SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender. SaveWithConrad.com.